Today we're going to be looking at box method. I usually use the box method for this type of factoring, but there's also another method which is called guess and check. You can watch the other video that's in our module to see the other type of method that's available. We use these methods when we're using trinomials that have a value that's larger than 1. These methods both are very similar to old-fashioned, as in they're similar concepts in regards to the AM rule, which is when we add to the middle term, multiply to the last term, and also in regards to the signs. This trinomial that we have here is 2x squared plus 7x plus 3. If you notice, our value for a is larger than 1. In this example here, it's 2. Okay, to begin the box method, first thing you're doing is you're writing the first number in the first box. So we're putting our 2x squared. The last number will go in the last box. Once you have the first and the last box filled, you're multiplying the two terms. So I'm doing 2x squared times 3 to get a 6x squared. Here's where it becomes very similar to old-fashioned factoring. We will be using the same sign, so we will know that our signs are the same and they're both positive. And then we're also going to be using the AM rule, which means that our values that we're going to plug in are going to be adding to 7 and also multiplying to 6. So when I ask myself what adds to 7 and multiplies to 6, I get 6 and 1. Because this was an x squared term, I'm going to share the x's for each factor. I'm going to place them in the box, so I have 6x and 1x, and the best part about box method is you can put them in either box. So if I put a 1x here and 6x here, that would work too. Now we're going to be looking at one of our older versions of factoring, and we're going to be using GCF. Okay, you do GCF up and you do GCF left. So I'm looking at 3 and 6x and I'm asking myself, what's the GCF of these two factors? The answer would be 3. Because 6x is positive, this 3 will also be positive. So the signs will go according to what box it's touching. Now I'm moving over to 1x and 2x squared. What's the GCF? It would be an x. Now I'm moving left. I have 3 and 1x. The GCF would just be 1. And 6x and 2x squared, the GCF would just be 2x. Okay, now you're done basically. You have your x plus 3 and 2x plus 1. And those are your two factors for 2x squared plus 7x plus 3. Now, a good question is, does it matter if these two are reversed? Is 2x plus 1 times x plus 3 also the correct answer? Yes, it is. The next problem we're going to be looking at is 3x squared minus x minus 4. Now, we're going to begin by putting our numbers into our box. However, I want to remind you that if there's a common term in your trinomial, you want to pull the GCF out first. Since we don't have a GCF between 3x squared, negative x, and negative 4, we're going to begin the box method. So I will be putting the first number in the first box, so 3x squared. I'm going to be putting the last number in the last box, which is a negative 4. Notice how I'm carrying down the sign. So not a positive 4, it's a negative 4. Now I will be multiplying 3x squared times negative 4, which is a negative 12x squared. Here's where we really need to be careful with our signs. This sign tells us, remember you start in the back, that our signs are different and the larger number is negative. So when I'm multiplying here to find my numbers, I'm adding to negative x, multiplying to negative 12. I have to remember that my larger number will be negative. So this will end up being a negative 4 times a 3. It's always a good idea to check your work. So negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. Negative 4 plus 3 is a negative 1, so it does add to up there, so we know that's correct. And now I'm going to put them in the box. Okay, remember they each get an x term because it's an x squared, so the x's get shared between the two factors. Once you have your box full, now you're doing GCF. So the GCF of negative 4 and negative 4x would be a negative 4. I'm sliding over. GCF of 3x and 3x squared will be a 3x. Okay, remember here what your sign, this is a negative 4 because it's touching the negative 4 box. This one is positive, so 3x is positive. Okay, now moving left, the GCF of 3x and negative 4 is a 1. It's positive because 3x is positive. And the GCF of negative 4x and 3x squared would be an x. So when I put that all together, my factors are 3x minus 4 times x plus 1. Okay, remember, if you want to check your answer, if you FOIL this, right, if you FOIL your two factors together, you'll get back to the original problem. Okay, that's the end of our video.